Good day, everyone. This is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and this is Saturday, the 11th of November, 2023, and this is the weekly technical analysis for the Euro, Cable, and the Aussie dollar for the third week of November. And last week, the Euro was mainly retracing after testing resistance, hitting the upper channel trend line, and was not able to push higher than that, and started to drift back towards the daily 55 EMA. Still probably about half of the rising channel. While the cable, after a strong bullish move at the end of the previous week and a spike just to tap the 55 exactly, but blocked by the daily 200 EMA as well. And then we trace back down to the 21 fib retracement, back to the support zone, right to where it broke out from the channel. And also the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar fell hard after the RBA's announcement that it was a dovish hike. They did raise interest rates, but then there was further weakness as the market took it as it could be the end of the tightening cycle. So it tumbled back down all the way back to 21 fib retracement as well, and right to where it broke out from this upper channel trend line. So basically last week was just a consolidation week, and due to lack of major news last week. So let's see what this week's hold with US CPI and UK CPI news coming up. And so let's take a look at the news drivers from last week and look forward to this coming week. Last week, the RBA did raise interest rates by 0.25% to 4.35, but however, it was seen as possibly the end of the rate hike cycle, so it was deemed to be a dovish hike, and the market just tumbled back down, retraced lower. So let's see what happens in the next, looking forward for the next few months with the next meeting. And the UK GDP did come up higher than expected, but didn't do much with the cable as it was still retracing lower, and against the US dollar, which was retracing back up. And then on Friday, the US sentiment was sharply lower than expected. So that put a slight pause in the US dollar support movement up, but we'll take a look at the DXY to see how much further it can move up if it's able to find further support. But looking ahead, this coming week will be a critical one for both the US and UK, with CPI data coming up. And both UK and CPI data, UK and US CPI data on just consecutive days with lower forecast for both as compared to the actual for the previous months. So we'll see if that's will come to fruition with slowing down in the inflation. Then followed by US PPI and retail sales as well. after the US CPI data. And then some jobs report from the UK and Australia. So major highlights will still be the CPI inflation figures. So for both US and the UK, so that's what to look out for. Right, so we'll need to compare that with the US dollar index, the DXY, to take a look at the price action. Okay, let's move back to the analysis. So let's begin with the euro. And after attempting to break out above the daily 200, the upper channel trend line, and hitting the 68 fib retracement almost precisely within a pip, and then pulling back down into the daily 55 EMA, looking for support there. So about halfway down of the whole channel range, but very small range for last week. It's only less than 100 pip range for last week. We take a look at the weekly time frame. As this small spinning top. So it could be a pause at this weekly 55, and after hitting the 62 fib retracement. So it could be a slight follow through in bearish momentum. May or may not hit the 106. See whether it's going to consolidate further. But it doesn't look like it's going to break out from this channel yet. So it could dip down just to pull back into the lower channel trend line. So likely the 106 should provide some support. So this is still going to be a key interim support with this lower channel trend line. That's still going to be a strong resistance area at a 62 fib, and a major support at the 105 round figure. Okay, so let's see if it's just going to consolidate further between the 106 and the 107, just above the 107. It could reach 107.50 again. All right, so no major news from the Eurozone. It's just exposed to the US news, CPI and PPI. Let's compare this with the US dollar index from and see whether there's a correlation here. And here's the US dollar index, where it has also been consolidating within this channel. It's the opposite, the inverse, with this falling channel. And it found support at a key level right at the lower channel trend line and also at the 50-pip retracement. So right on at the start of the weekend, managed to recover back again, also to halfway through to the middle of the channel here. So this is definitely an interim support, but a key one. Major support is still at the 104 and the daily 200 EMA. We can move this resistance back down to 106 to align with the 21 fib and the round figure of 106, as well as the upper channel trend line just slightly above that. We take a look at the weekly time frame. Yes, that's also similar to the inverse relationship with the euro. So it looks like further consolidation for next week until it breaks out of this channel here. And let's see if the CPI and PPI news will trigger this breakout, or whether it's just going to add to the consolidation within this range. And if the inflation figure is coming out lower than expected or as forecasted, so we could see this initially rising and then dropping back down lower. Into the support zone. All right. Let's move back to the other pairs. Moving ahead to the cable. As with the euro on Monday, it attempted to break out higher above the daily 200 EMA, spiked through it, but just to hit the 50 fib retracement, and that's where the interim resistance is, intermediate resistance, and was rejected right there, exactly at within less than 1 pip, and then continued to pull back lower throughout the week until fell back into the 21 fib retracement, back to where it broke out of the upper channel trend line. Okay, so support is still at this swing low. That's a major support there. And then this intermediate support now has already been tested, and we'll see whether it's able to find a bounce from there. We can remove this one here. And then the major resistance further up at the 62 fib retracement, along with the 125 round figure. So we take a look on the weekly time frame. It's dark cloud covered candlestick and a more bearish looking candle than for the euro weekly time frame. But it did pull back to test the breakout area. So we'll see if it's able to find support and bounce back up. And especially with the UK CPI data coming up, followed by retail sales as well. So we'll see if it's able to test the resistance zone again at the 50 pip, or whether it's just going to consolidate within this range between the 21 and the 50 pip retracement areas. So between about 122 to 124, so about a 200 pip range. So there's more news to watch out for both the UK and US, which will impact this cable. All right, let's move on to the Aussie dollar. And from last week's RBA decision, that's the Tuesday news, and that's the drop right into back into the 38 pip retracement, or the 62 based on this overall pip swing here, but that's the pullback into the 62 here, and then dropping back down to 21 pip retracement. Also similar to the cable, where it pulled back to where it almost broke out from the upper trend line of this descending wedge. So that's this major support may need to move back down to the swing low, and the interim support at this 21 pip and just next to the upper trend line, and resistance back up into the 50 pip, and a major one right at looks like it's going to be at the 65 here. Let's move this away. So 65 and the 62 pip retracement, it will be a strong resistance zone. On a weekly time frame, this is a more bearish dark cloud cover here. So it would seem that there could be further bearish momentum to drag this pair lower. So we need to watch out if it's going to break this trend line, which may trigger further bearish moves. Okay, it's also exposed us to the US news, but there's also Aussie jobs report on Thursday. All right, so let's watch out and compare with the US dollar index for next week, and to see whether these major pairs are able to find support, and especially with the US inflation data coming up. That's going to be volatile news there. All right, so do check out my other video on spot gold and dollar yen. Have a safe week and a good trading week, and cheers for now.